In this episode of Lab, we're going to talk about what employers say they want from new hires. And that is the ability to work with other people, specifically other creative types.
It is incredibly important that you be able to work with other people in a creative, professional way, because even if you think you're an island and you're all by yourself and you're the freelancer, I guarantee you there's going to be situations that come up where you're involved with other people bringing different talents to your situation to be able to deliver the greatest, highest quality product possible. And it is of insurmountable importance that you know and understand how to work with those people in a way that isn't frictional, that is synergistic, and makes everybody feel like they're doing the best work that they can do in a supported environment.
So I don't want to make it sound like it should just be easy for you to work on a team of people. It is almost never easy, but it's necessary. And as you start to work on a team of people that are all different personalities, come from all different technical backgrounds and levels, the end goal should always be the same, which is to produce the best quality work that you are all capable of doing. But it's not going to be easy. And so for this session, we really just want to talk about how do you manage in that situation? What are some things that you should and should not do? How do you manage people that are difficult? And one of the first things that comes to my mind is when you walk up to a situation and you're meeting the team for the first time, your knee-jerk reaction is to assert your creative dominance in that group, to make sure that they all know what you know, how good you are, X, Y, and Z, and why they should, right? I was kind of thinking of like a gorilla kind of approaching on scene and taking its stance. And, You have to be careful with that. One, because everyone else is going to be suppressing that exact same desire. Two, because it's a big turnoff to the people that you're working with, and it's going to set the tone for how they work with you for the entire project. Your ability to lower your creative defense mechanisms and enter a team with an open mind to the fact that as a team, not just you, but as a team, you're going to be able to produce better work than you would by yourself. To be open to that is going to really set you up and your team for success.
Most definitely. It is a very common thing what Alan's talking about, where people kind of assert dominance in a certain area. Maybe they have experience doing something and they're very confident in that, and they want that role on the team, and they don't want anyone else to mess with it, and they want to be calling shots, and really that comes from a place of insecurity because they're worried about somebody else kind of directing what they do when they feel like they know best. And if you can get yourself out of that mindset and understand that really it's about everybody that you're working with and the individual talents that you have, yes, people have roles. People do specialized things in a team situation.
And there is a hierarchy in a team.
Absolutely. And as the team gets larger, people tend to do things in a more specialized way. On a team of 3 people, you're going to be wearing multiple hats. On a team of 10 or 12 people, maybe you're only wearing 1 or 2 hats. But in either situation, you're going to be interacting with other people no matter what. You're never in a silo all by yourself, only doing your one little thing, no matter how important that thing is, okay? So really, it becomes about interaction and understanding and communicating with other people about what it is that they do, how they see things, and what the contribution and the kind of team effort towards the end product should be. Now, Alan, spoke about the hierarchy on a team. There definitely is one. There's not, a team of 14 people, they're not all the director, okay?
There's one.
There is one.
There's one.
Exactly.
There can only be one.
And that person has a lot of say over a lot of things, and it's very important that you respect that. But at the same time, they shouldn't be dominating everybody and, squelching their ideas.
Doing their jobs.
Yeah, and showing them, you're not doing this correctly. This is the way it needs to be done. No, that's not what it's about, okay? It's about serving the team and the purpose with the role that you have, and then being sensitive to other people and where they are and how you guys work together, okay? I always go back to the editor-sound designer relationship that I have had with a couple people in particular, but the most recent experience that I had working with my good friend Chad Richmond, most amazing editor I've ever worked with. And he did everything above the line in Premiere, and I did everything below the line. And we helped each other in both situations. I was the sound designer and he was the editor, okay? But we would work in each other's realms. I would adjust shot order, length of things. I would make, slight changes in speed effects to benefit the marriage of the picture and the sound together. And he would do the same thing. He would move things around, change out sound effects because they would work better with the new shot that he was going to put in that day. And we respected each other's expertise and want for the other person's realm, the other person's role to work the best way that it could. And that, I can't tell you how fulfilling it is when you get an end product that does really well, and is recognized as something that is high quality, and maybe it receives awards and things like that. To know that you guys worked together in a way that benefited the entire product, the entire team, and each other. It's like, I liken it to having a best friend. You trust that person with everything that you hold dear, and maybe your personal secrets and things like that, because they have your back. All right. That's, if you get a team like that, I guarantee it's a dream, and I guarantee you it's going to last. It's going to stay together for quite a while because there's such incredible power in that.
And you should want to work on a team where everyone's better at everything than you.
Definitely. I totally agree with that.
You should, because not only do you stand to benefit from learning from everybody, but you get the amazing privilege of working on a team of amazing, creative professionals who are going to help you make something that is absolutely stellar. I've seen far too many people lead teams and get threatened by bringing on people who are more talented than them. Yeah. I firmly believe that if you're ever leading a team, if you're ever a director, you should be thrilled that there are people around you who are better at doing those things than you are. Because it truly is. Luke just did something really important when he spoke. He gave by name credit to someone who he said is one of the best editors he's ever worked with. Luke's an editor. Luke just gave praise and credit to someone who does the same thing as him. Mm-hmm. Because Luke is able to see the talent that is filling the voids in Luke. So as you guys start to work with other people on a team, if you're a control freak, like me, right? I'm totally a control freak. I hate letting other people do things that I think I could do better. It's really hard for me. If you're a control freak, it's amazing the joy that comes with full trust in someone else's abilities. And even if you're not sure, give them the benefit of the doubt. Because if you're breathing over their neck, that is not the way to build trust in a team.
Definitely not, and it will degrade the quality of their work, and as a result, the quality of the end product.
Because they'll just start to surrender. Okay, fine, you do it.
Absolutely.
Fine, you do it.
Or I'll just do whatever you say, and now they're not participating with their own magic.
And that is the beginning of the end of that team. As you guys start to approach that downward spiral of everyone just either siloing or saying, fine, you do it. No, it's your job. Well, I just did this the best I could, and you want to, oh man, that just goes down the drain.
Yeah, that'll take you out real quick. One of the other important factors in this, I guess what I want to do is go back to what you were saying. Don't be threatened by someone who maybe has more acumen, more talent, more experience in an area that you're associated with. Look at that as an opportunity, all right? You're never gonna get a better opportunity to learn something than one-on-one, like in a mentor type relationship with somebody. I can't tell you how much I have benefited from several people throughout my career just because they were willing to share their knowledge with me. And it is about empowering people to do that for you and to give that to you and to help you and to take you under their wing. It isn't about you kowtowing to them and
Kowtowing?
Kowtowing.
Kowtowing.
Yes.
Kowtowing.
Relinquishing some type of power. Okay. I am so much older than you. Yeah. So.
Luke's taking me under his wing.
Oh my God. So it is about you being able to benefit from their years of experience and maybe the level of skill and talent that they have built. And if they're willing to share that with you, that is a gift, okay, that you cannot get in any other way. That is like, you should view that as a bar of gold.
You're getting paid to learn.
Absolutely. From someone who knows how to do this better, it's awesome. And I've done that many times in my career.
But, there's always that button there. There are those people that are a chore to work with.
Oh, yes.
Whether they're the toxic personality or whether they're the dominant type who just shows up on scene and everyone's like, oh man, they're here, right? One, strive to never be that person.
Yeah.
But two, what do you do when that person's on your team? In almost every job I've held, there's always been at least one person that I've deemed the toxic person in that workspace that make it really hard to achieve the end product. They're very talented people generally, but they make it really hard. There are two things that I want to talk about here. One, you should never be someone that they could blame for something. What does that mean? I mean, if they're really toxic, you can't just put them on their own little iceberg, kick it off to shore, and then be like, all right, I'm gonna now finish what we've started, you go flail in the ocean. Because now when the project's done, they can come back to you and say, I had nothing to do with that. I never got to do anything. I didn't do this. See, you should have. Now they can just fully come back and attack that project.
Yeah, they can be like, the rest of the team withheld the project from me. And then they're, placing blame, rightfully so, actually, on the rest of the team. And that reflects badly on you. So don't ever do that.
You should be without excuse, meaning you should always be keeping them in the loop, trying to get them to participate in whatever manner they can. And if at the end of the day you do all that and they still don't, that's not on you, right? Do everything you can to make sure the team stays cohesive.
Give them opportunity.
Yeah.
And really, I guess the other point that I would make here is rest assured that if you do that and you give them that opportunity and you communicate with them, you keep them in the loop, and they are definitely part of this team, they will eventually, if they don't get it, they will take themselves out of the equation. They will do it all by themselves. And production usually goes in a cyclical manner. A production starts, begins, things happen, it ends, and then a new one begins and a new team is formed, or maybe the members of the previous team are brought together again. If that person is somebody that nobody wants to work with, well, the next time the team forms, they're not going to get the call, and because they took themselves out of the equation just by being that very difficult, toxic person to work with. All right, it doesn't mean that you have to do that immediately and X them out of that project. Just wait. They'll do it all on their own. Give them the opportunity, and they'll take themselves out for you.
Because you do not want to creatively sabotage something that your name is a part of, right? So don't fall on some sword just to make a point that this person was difficult. See, the whole project failed because of them.
Yeah.
That won't fly. It won't fly in a classroom setting, but it definitely won't fly to the client who's paying you for that work.
They don't
care. They don't
At
care.
all.
They paid you guys to do a job. They don't care if someone's difficult. the job still has to get done.
That's right.
And so if you sit there and just fold your arms and be like, fine, if they want to make this fail, I'm just going to let them do it.
Yep.
No, because now you're standing on the ship as it sinks.
So again, this is about you realizing the power that you have as a whole, okay? And what you as a team can create and deliver regardless of the interpersonal dynamics that are going on within it. Obviously, the best situation is everybody gets along, everybody respects each other, everybody has these wonderful talents, and they synergistically work together beautifully, and there's just a glow about you the entire time. There are going to be plenty of times where that is not the case.
Then there's reality.
Okay, so you have to remain confident within yourself. And you have to be inclusive. You have to elevate the other people that you work with. You have to give credit where credit is due, even if that person is difficult or has an attitude. If they really kicked on something, well, they deserve the credit. And that sometimes that can turn people around because they're not used to being given that, so they're trying to take it from everybody. Okay, so be that. Pure-minded, pure-hearted creative professional and work towards the best end result and include your team and empower the rest of them and give them opportunity, and you're going to go a lot further. You're going to get on better and better teams, I guarantee it, and you're going to start to gravitate naturally towards people that are like you. Okay, that happens. There's a certain resonance that happens. I mean, you can tell when you walk into a group of people, in a room full of people, there are certain people that just strike you, a little bit defensively, and then there are other people that are more open, and you kind of just are instantly,
drawn to them.
Yeah, drawn to them, and you feel a connection right away. That happens absolutely on a creative team, and when you're talking about long days of production, you really find out who people are, And if you can find those people that you do resonate with, I guarantee you're going to build a long-term relationship, and potentially you could achieve significant success together. That is what has happened to me multiple times in my career.
And I want to close with just this kind of last little nugget that's been something I've had to learn the hard way, and that is how to make recommendations to other creatives in a hierarchy situation.
That's a great one.
So inevitably, you're going to have some kind of creative boss, whether that's the director on a set, the director in the editing bay, maybe the lead editor, or just the creative director, if maybe you're on a creative team or there are other video producers. They are in charge. They're not always going to do everything the best. You will always have situations where you have to suppress and swallow your desire to say, that's not good. We can do it better. Do it my way.
Yeah.
And there are places to do that. The one place you should never do that is in front of the rest of the team.
Yeah.
If you make a fool of the person in charge and you think, haha, see, I know better.
I put them in their place.
Oh, man. Yeah. You will embarrass yourself greatly if you still have your job at the end of the day.
It actually looks the
terrible.
The rest of the team.
And I've done that several times early on in my career, and the conversations that came afterwards were very embarrassing for me. And sometimes you do it innocently, thinking just, oh, this shot looks cooler. And the person's like, what? No, you're doing what I'm... The best way to do this is in private, or to do it in a way that still gives them the decision.
Yeah.
So I've had plenty of times where after the shoot and we're debriefing, I've had the opportunity to say, I wonder if we had done it this way, or what if I saw this on set, do you think that would have been a cool way to do it as well?
And that's so important. What do you think of this? What do you think of this idea? Do you think that this could possibly, do you think that this could work?
Not, I think you should have done. Right? You see the difference there.
Yeah, you maintain that hierarchical relationship. They're still in their position. They're still serving in their role. And you're just giving them the power to make a decision based on a suggestion that you gave them, but in a way that makes them, feel like they're making that decision. That is so easy to do, and it works.
And it comes with opportunities for you to grow because they'll trust you.
Oh, yes, they will.
Because you don't make a fool out of them.
Yeah.
In fact, you give them behind the scenes tips that they'll actually use in the future. They may even take credit for, just full disclosure. They may even take credit for.
Definitely, yeah.
But now your relationship with them, they're starting to then maybe bring you up in terms of your role. Maybe they're starting to give you more control on set because they know you're not going to make them look bad and they trust the things that you're seeing or noticing.
Yeah, this has happened for me in my career. I've worked with the director that I do now for a very long time. His name is Bill Wisniewski, very talented man. When we first started making films together, this was 15 years ago now, I had very little freedom to do anything really creative in the way that I wanted to, because he felt very strongly about the end product that he wanted, and he wanted me to serve in a very specific way, and I did. But along the way, I kept offering suggestions, and I kept asking him what he thought of this possibility and that possibility. Do you think that this could grow the impact of what we're trying to do here if I were to try this? And it gave him the opportunity to provide me that freedom. And he did, and it worked. And now, after doing that, over the last 15 years and getting, not pushing, but constantly offering growth opportunities, that's kind of how I think about it, in, the type of product that we create. And we're talking about documentary film here in particular. By doing that over all that time, I'm in a position now where we have this rapport. He trusts me to come at him with something that he knows that will work because I have done it so many times before now. And he has, just given me more and more freedom to do it, and it's worked. But again, it came from his side of things. Yes, I'm instigating it, but I'm not doing it in an overly assertive or, attacking kind of way.
Threatening.
Yeah,
way.
There's nothing threatening about it. I'm just saying I'm offering a possibility, and he has the opportunity to take that on.
The last thing I would say, and we didn't talk about this before recording, but be careful who you talk to about who. Water cooler talk about the people you're working with is going to come back to bite you. So if you have that one toxic person and you and the rest of the team are talking about how much you just can't stand them, or maybe the director is overbearing, you just talk with the rest of the crew about how overbearing the director is, you gotta be careful with that, because especially on a smaller team, that's gonna travel very fast. I have been called into my boss's office in my first job, and he was hot. He was like, "You're trying to usurp authority from me. You've been trying to disturb." And I'm like, "Whoa, what are you talking about?" It's because me and all the rest of the crew were talking about how much we can't stand him.
Yeah.
And I got thrown under the bus. So you got to be careful with who you talk about. This goes just as much for teams when it's just you and your other fellow students.
For sure.
You do not want to be that one person that says the one bad thing gets back to them, because that creates not only a permanent awkward situation, but a divide in the team that's almost, not able to be mended.
Yeah, basically it starts a rotting process of the power and the dynamic that you have. And there's really no, once that's started, it's very difficult to mend it. It is possible, but it's almost, insurmountable at that point.
But it feels so good. I hear you guys. It feels so good to sit there and vent about that one personality. But you have the ability, when someone comes to you and starts venting, to build that person up instead of tearing them down. And that kind of ties in everything we've been talking about. Yep. If your mentality is, I'm going to do everything I can to see the best in my team and to build them up and to give them credit where credit's due, team production is going to go well for you.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And that's what you have to remain focused on, is the health and the validity and the power and the integrity of that team. And yes, you're going to have challenges along the way, and that's kind of what we want to help to prepare you guys for. And hopefully we're giving you tools to do that. You can handle situations. You can handle dealing with people. And you cannot let something get out of hand and just destroy everything and the whole team flies apart. That's not going to serve the end result. And if you're working in a professional situation and you disappoint the client because of that, that reflects badly on everybody, no matter who is the real source of the problem here. You have to keep it together.
So we look forward to having you guys look forward to working on teams, because there is truly something you can't replace the experience you get from working on a team. So in the discussion board, I want you to discuss perhaps team situations you've been on. It doesn't have to be video production. I mean, you all have probably worked on a team of people at some point doing something. What was the common problem with that project? Was there a common problem? In hindsight, is there anything you could have done differently to have made it gone smoother? If you do have video production team experience, let's talk about it. And let's start to talk about what it is that we have, maybe in terms of weaknesses or strengths, that make us a good team member, or maybe makes you a bad team member. So hopefully this has been a helpful discussion. We'll see you guys in the next lab.
See you guys.